Hello and welcome to the unofficial BSHL Senior Hockey League podcast. Corey, how you doing, bud?
I am doing fantastic. How about you, Corey?
I'm doing great, man. It's been had a busy week, a good week. We're recording this on Monday night, just like the old days. We used to always record on Mondays and
Yep.
Wednesdays, so this
Yep.
felt good to get home from Monday and know that I was recording tonight.
Yeah. Same here. Long day at work, though. The clock stopped moving after a while, and batteries were fine. It's just time was just going slow for me. But got this day through. Week 5 for me. So
You were really looking forward to recording with me, so it made your day drag on. I know that's what it
absolutely,
is.
I know.
What
I know.
what's on your cup there? I see you drinking coffee.
It's an Ultimate Warrior cup.
It's an Ultimate Warrior mug that almost matches that Ultimate Warrior thing hanging behind you. It's just,
The only difference is the eyes.
the only difference is the eyes. Guy's an Ultimate Warrior freak. So let's see. What have we been up to this last week? What have we been doing? I've been busy. Hospice has been very busy. We're doing a lot of fundraising and a lot of different stuff. So that's been fun. Prepping for a podcast over there as well, which has been a really good time. Doing a lot of recording, just different things. On Saturday, I went to see some races in Miramichi at Miramichi Speedway with some River Valley fans. And I
Yeah.
will tell you, I saw 2 Northman hoodies there and 3 River Valley hoodies there. I love the BSHL fans are just repping it everywhere. It's great.
Hell yeah, I love it. It's funny because when you see someone crossing the street and they're wearing like a team's sweater or whatever, and you're wearing the same, you kind of like do a double take and you look at each other and it's like long lost brothers.
Yeah, you have that moment. You have that
Yeah,
moment.
that moment that which is hey, nice shirt.
I was hanging out with the Watson family, so Richard and Chantal and some of their kids, and that was a good time. But then, yeah, she every time she'd see a River Valley hoodie pass, she'd be like, "Corey, look down there," and I'm like, "Yeah, I see it, I see it." I think the real answer is, we just got to get everybody in BSHL hoodies, and that's the
There
key.
you go.
Rep your own team everywhere you go. We'll rep the BSHL podcast hoodie, and
Yep.
yeah, it was a good day at the races. It was a lot of fun. You should come out to one of those, Corey. I think you'd have a really good time.
Absolutely. When we're done work in July, if there's still some races, I'll gladly go.
Yeah, it's a long day because there's multiple. They do the heats and then they do actual races and then there's some demo stuff. So it's a long day, but it's a really fun day. And I don't know, good food, good people. Can't ask for much better than that.
You had me at good food.
Good food. What did we do on Sunday? We had some fun on Sunday too.
Well, I was repping the BSHL hoodie.
Good boy.
My buddy Glenn had a tournament. I missed Friday and Saturday, but I made it to Sunday morning. You came along with me, and
Yep.
it's funny how we just put our foots in the arena, just
Our
at the
foots.
entrance. Our foots, our feet,
Our feet. There it is. Good job. Our foots. We put our foots in the arena. Every now
I
and
want,
then the French and Corey comes out.
yeah.
Oh,
I'd say my
tabarnak, we put our foots in the rink.
I
All
want to
right,
say
keep
put my
going.
foot in the rink. The
You put your
smell of
foot in
the
your
rink
mouth.
and
Carry on.
everything. Just the smell of the rink, I missed it big time, and I went back for the finals later on that day at 4. Put my foots in the arena again.
Who
Brought
else put their
Ricky
foots
with
in the
me.
rink with you?
Ricky,
Ricky was in there. He put his foots in the arena too. Right on.
yeah,
Focus,
gonna get,
Motour.
you're gonna get me laughing now. My foots. Yeah, no, it was a fun game. Glenn told me one thing that made me laugh. So Glenn won. His team was the framing team, and they took on the dual citizens,
Yep.
and they did something funny. They brought in two, I think it was two 19-year-old university hockey players with them.
With the framing team.
No, with the dual
Oh,
citizens.
oh
So
shit.
so Glenn got scored on like 5 times by the same guy, and he just like looked up and he was like, "It's over."
Poor guy. Poor Glenn. I saw the earlier game, the semifinal. He played great. He had a really good game.
Played great. Great goalie. You know, I don't want to reveal his age, but he's in his late 40s, early 50s, let's say. Um, and everybody of that little league is older. So you
Yeah,
bring in two 19-year-olds,
there's a couple
almost
of
not
younger guys.
fair.
There's a couple of younger guys on a couple teams that I saw, and I was like, man,
Yeah.
that's fun. They look, to be fair, very good hockey, really competitive
Yeah.
hockey. Those guys can skate, and
Hmm.
yeah, it's good hockey. It was a good time, like you said. Anytime we get to go back in the rink, did you have anything to eat in Bucktouche?
I had a burger.
How was it?
What a stupid question. It was great.
It was nostalgic.
It was nostalgic.
I
It
had a little
wasn't
bit
the
of popcorn
Doketown burger.
chicken. No, oh God, no. I had a little bit of popcorn chicken, and that was pretty good too. Yeah, it was. I will agree with you. When I walked into the rink in Bucktouche has this smell. The lobby has this like smell, and
Hmm.
I'm like, it's nice to be back.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
When I went,
I miss hockey. What are you
yes,
gonna do? I
sir.
miss live hockey. I miss hockey that I care about.
When I went back with Ricky, I got there a little bit before him, so I'm sitting in the stands, and I see Ricky come in. He's like, "Oh, I'm just getting in." So Ricky makes a beeline towards the canteen. He grabs himself a burger and a poutine. I think he was so excited for the food. Like I think he said, "Hockey be damned, the
Yeah,
canteen's open." So he gets there.
yeah.
He gets there. He grabs a burger. He grabs a poutine, and he grabs a bottle of water. And he's like putting ketchup on his burger, putting ketchup on his fries. And we go and sit down. So maybe midway through the second period, I excuse myself to go to the bathroom. So then I'm just standing there and all that, and I look, Ricky's gone. Okay. So then I continue to watch. I turn back my head. There's Ricky. He's back at the same spot. So I go back and I sit next to him, and he goes, I guess I was hungry. I'm like, why? He's like, I had forgotten my bottle of water there. It was just standing on the table where he left it.
That's
Nobody
hilarious.
took it,
Did he put
and he just,
vinegar? Did he put vinegar on his poutine?
he did not. He put ketchup.
All right, we'll have to let Pascal Valcourt know.
Yeah.
People from Kokang are not not vinegar fans. Man, yeah, it was just, I agree, good time. Um, it's always surprising how good the hockey is, though. I remember last year
Yeah.
I went and I was like, oh, it's pretty good hockey. And again last night, although I think there's those guys that play before the JCs, and if you're a
Yeah.
JCs fan, you know exactly who we mean. You know
Yeah.
exactly who we mean. And some of those guys that play on Sunday nights before the JCs play in this tournament. So it's cool to see them out there again and having some fun.
The only downfall of going to that hockey game is it made me really, really, really miss the BSHL. Like I didn't
For
think I'd
sure.
miss it that much. Like it's at that point where I'm having dreams that I'm going to games and I'm watching hockey and I'm hearing the roar of the crowd and it's crazy how
Are you dreaming of me?
you're there sometimes. Yeah.
Great. It's a little creepy, but I like it.
Yeah.
That's not the only hockey you watched yesterday, though. What did you watch last night?
I watched the PWHL.
I watched some of that game too until I got too tired and fell asleep. It was a really good game. They're in
It
the
was.
final right now, so if you haven't watched it yet,
So
I
it
highly
was
recommend
game
you check it out.
four. Game
Yeah,
four, Minnesota versus Boston. And it was 0-0 after three. After the first overtime, still two goose eggs. Second overtime, there's maybe 2-3 minutes left in that second overtime. Minnesota scores.
yeah.
They jump off the bench. The gloves are being flown. The helmets are being thrown. The sticks are being thrown. They are celebrating. There are signs in the crowd. We win the cup because they were in Minnesota. Love those jerseys, by the way. Big, huge Minnesota Vikings fan. Uh, so I guess you could put they put both foot in the on the ice and
Both foots.
both foots.
And
So
then the refs called it back.
the refs called it back, and it was a good call. Here's the thing: it was a good call. She
Okay.
did hit. She like slid into the Boston. I keep wanting to say Bucktouche into the Boston player because they were green as well.
They do. I like their
Um,
jerseys.
yeah. So the lady slides into the goalie. Uh, After that, They score, replay, no goal. Maybe a minute later, Boston scores. Talk about taking the wind out of the sail right there.
Yeah, oh God, terrible. It happens,
Hmm.
and it's oh man, remember that Brett Hull goal with the foot in the
Yeah,
crease after a year of foot in the crease getting called off, and
yeah.
they didn't call that one back. I'd rather them make the right call, as much as that must have sucked for all those girls and that whole
Hmm.
crowd. So now we're going to a deciding game 5 in Boston.
Yeah.
Um,
I can't
should
wait
be
to see this one. I like when we had Miss Fraser on,
Kelsey Frazier. Yep,
Elsie Fraser. You talked about the PWHL,
yep,
and I had seen a little bit. We've been busy, and during the playoffs, I've seen quite a little bit more.
yep,
And you were spot on there. There are some of those games that are amazing.
yep.
Like it's probably the best women's league I've seen.
It's the best women's league I've ever seen. The
Yeah,
quality of play is through the roof. And it's been like the quality of playing women's hockey has been great for a long time. But
yeah,
in this league, they just let enough go. It's
yeah.
just, they say it's spicy. Well, it's spicy hockey.
Oh
Some
yeah,
good hockey. Um, have you watching the Edmonton series?
oh yeah. I've been watching that. The Edmonton Oilers versus the Dallas Stars and the New
Dallas
York
Stars?
Rangers. Is that what I said?
Yeah, yeah,
That's
no,
what I
you're
said.
good.
And Florida and New York. I saw New York yesterday.
Yep.
Right after I got home from the game. Um, Another overtime win there, and they tried to. I think Florida tried to have it call it back. They said that he tipped it in with his glove, but it just went off his stick, and good goal.
I'm really hoping to see New York and Edmonton in the final.
See, my finals since day one, since the season started, my finals were Edmonton and Florida. So if that happens, and if Edmonton wins the cup, I need to buy a lottery ticket now.
You should have put some money on that final. You would have made
I know.
some solid cash if that ends
Yeah,
up happening.
yeah,
And it very well could. It's been a good playoff season for the NHL. Really good hockey in the PWHL. It's a good time to be a hockey fan right now.
yeah.
Um, man, I think I think I might make it out to the QMJHL draft in a few weeks. That's happening at the
Yeah,
Avenir. I think that might be a good time. We'll see what
it's at
happens.
this year.
It's at the Avenir. I've never been to the Q draft. I think it could be a good experience. Could be a good time. I'm just looking for any excuse to get out of the house. To be honest with you, I
When
get
is
a little stir
when is
crazy.
this? What's the date on
It's
this?
two. I think it's 2 weeks from Friday. 2 weeks from this Friday. 2 weeks from this
Okay,
Saturday.
so
So
I'll be
I'll, I'll
working,
I'll
so
I'll
I won't
send
be
you.
there.
You'll be working. I'll send you some video, and should be a good time. I like it a lot. Won't be going to the canteen. I'm not as big of a fan of the food at the Avenir as I am at some other places. They do have good popcorn. I like the popcorn at the Avenir, but
You're a
yeah,
big
no man. When
popcorn
I
fan,
walked
though.
into I'm a huge popcorn guy. When I walked into Bucktouche and saw the canteen open, man, it was like Christmas. I was like, woohoo,
Yeah.
let's go. I wasn't even hungry and I still got something to eat. It was bad.
Two
Can't help
things that
myself
are
sometimes.
funny. Number one, when we went to the JC's practice game at the beginning of the season, the canteen wasn't open, and I remember being disappointed by
I
that.
wish it would have
And
been.
yeah,
Yeah.
and we go yesterday, and I'm not expecting it to be open, so I ate some soup and I ate like I filled myself up before going, and then the canteen was open. I'm like, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like talking to myself in my head, I'm like, I can't not take something, you know. But go back to the popcorn thing. I remember the first time you went to Dalhousie.
Yeah.
I wasn't there,
No.
but I remember the thing you talked the most about is the popcorn in Dalhousie.
That's not true. That's the thing I talked the second most about. The thing I talked most about was my sister walking into the locker room.
Yeah, apologies, that is true. But once the locker room creeper story ends, he's like the popcorn. They got popcorn here, popcorn there, popcorn
I
everywhere.
love their popcorn. The popcorn in Dalhousie is great. The lines are fast. They do a really good job with it. And it's just good popcorn. And it supports good cause. So if you ever go to Dalhousie, get 2 bags of the popcorn. Because one bag's just going to make you crave that second bag. So that's a pro tip. That's a pro tip. And then actually buy a third bag. Dump a bag on Corey's head when you walk by him. That's a good time.
Yeah.
Corey's giving me a dirty look right now. Hey, you think you're the only one with the jokes, eh? No, I've got the jokes. You can tell that we're starting to get closer to the summer. We're seeing some teams do some fundraising stuff. Um, I know in uh, Elsie just did their concert with Reve, which
Yep.
did really well. I've started to see some stuff for some other teams, so we'll be talking about that as time goes by. I saw that the Etienne Robichaud Foundation announced their golf tournament,
Hmm.
so go and register for that if you haven't, and if you're a golfer, support a great cause. They do some amazing stuff with fundraising for kids hockey, for kids sports, in memory of a great guy, former BSHL player at the end of the
Yeah.
show. So, get out there and support that for sure. If you can volunteer, if you're a golfer or whatever, support that great cause, worthy cause. So, yeah, I think that's about it. But yeah, I'm excited. Starting to hear some rumors swirl a little bit. We're starting to talk about rumors. I'm starting to hear
Yep.
about players that are coming back that we didn't think were coming back. Some guys that maybe aren't coming back. I'm going to be waiting for teams to make official announcements, but we're getting closer every week. So
Hmm.
I'd like to thank everybody that reaches out and continues to support the podcast because it means a lot. I know I was talking with Mark McGraw over the weekend and some other people. It's just it's always a pleasure to keep in touch with like the wonderful Watson family that I went and saw a race
Hmm.
with. It's just always nice to see people. I think next weekend or this coming weekend, the River Valley Lumberjacks have their softball tournament. So
Okay.
I know Adam Story's playing in it. So I told Kristen I might make it out just to heckle Adam. I'm thinking every time there's a ball thrown, I'll be like rum 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 rum, and I just want to get out and support the teams. So you know I don't know, love this league, want to see it grow, and anything I
Absolutely.
can do to help it, I'm down. So Corey, that's about all we got for this episode. We've got a great interview coming up with TimTim. When's the first time you heard of TimTim?
TikTok, during the season that I first saw, 2022, 2023, he gave us some clips, or didn't give us, but he put clips on TikTok, and that was really the only way to see clips of the BSHL. And I don't know, pioneer of sorts.
Joel was doing some too.
Joel
Um,
was doing some too, but Joel did some after. Tim Tim was doing it a little bit before.
yeah, TimTim was
Uh,
definitely doing it before. I remember seeing TimTim during the World Juniors in Moncton,
mhm,
and he actually talks a little bit about that and says
mhm.
something that I didn't know that you didn't know. So it's really worth checking this interview out. TimTim's
Yeah,
a good guy. He's somebody that I
really good guy.
didn't know until midway through this season or so, and we've become somewhat friends, chatting like I am with a lot of people in the BSHL. But yeah, no,
Yeah.
TimTim I think is definitely a social media, not necessarily pioneer because I think Mark Richardson was doing it long before
Well, yeah,
TimTim, but TimTim's been doing it before us, and I respect him. So
yeah.
it's pretty great to have him on. Good to talk to him. We've got another interview coming up next week. I'm not going to spoil it,
No
but
spoilers.
another good one. And yeah, we're just going to keep it rolling through the summer. And man, you'll be done working before you know it.
I can't wait. Once the first season's over, there is a second one, and once that season's over, BSHL starts.
And between the seasons, we'll play some Cards Against Humanity.
I cannot wait because playing Cards Against Humanity with Cheryl
Yeah,
is always like she'll always like say something that's so out of left field that'll make us think for a second, contemplate what we're doing with our lives, and then we'll laugh.
then we'll laugh. Love
Then
Cheryl.
we'll laugh.
I
Love
haven't talked
Cheryl.
to her too much lately. She's been I've been busy. She's been kind of busy, but it was her birthday last week, so we were over there for a little birthday supper with my parents and Cheryl, which
Hmm.
was nice. And yeah, I'm lucky. Got a great family,
You
great
sure do.
sister, good friend named Corey. So that's all we got for this episode. Enjoy the
You got
Tim Tim
another
interview.
friend named Corey?
We'll see you next week. Take care.
Take care.
Hi, stole your take care, bitch.
Mm.
You gave me the finger. It's not very nice. All right, see you later. All right, we have a great interview today. Um, as you all know, I'm Corey, joined by my co-host Corey.
Good day.
We have a guest today that a lot of people know from social media. Tim Tim. Tim Sutton. Welcome, buddy.
Thanks for having me.
Man, it's we've chatted many times and we follow each other on social media and stuff, so it's good to have you on here, man.
Yes, it's good to be on finally.
Yeah, buddy. So tell me a bit about Tim Sutton. What do you do for a living? Tell me a little bit about yourself.
I I I have a manual labor. I move mini homes for a living, so it's an interesting job. I mean, it keeps me on the road, so I'm always seeing lots of things. And I mean, me myself, I started doing social media as kind of just to make fun of New Brunswick cities was how I started with my social media thing,
I remember
and
those.
and it was also to get McDonald's to bring back the McPizza. So that's how my whole social media started. And it just kind of grew from there because I've always been a fixture at the rink. I've announced hockey games for years and years and years. So it just kind of bounced from one to the next to the next. It was kind of a gradual growing, but it was just a natural thing to happen, I guess.
Tell me about your history as a hockey fan or an announcer. I know you've been around many hockey leagues for years. Tell me about that.
Uh, Geez, I've been an announcer and a scorekeeper in hockey for as many years as I remember, about 25 years, maybe more. So I've gotten to see many things. I mean, Luc Bourdon played here, Sean Couturier played here. I got to see all three Milsons play here. So I mean, it's been an interesting in that sense that I've always had a front row seat to some of the greatest players, and as well as some of the rough stuff in the BSHL senior hockey or elsewhere. It's an interesting place to be.
So as a hockey fan, who's your favorite NHL team? Come
I
on.
cheer for the Capitals. Is
You're a
who I cheer
Capitals
for.
fan. All right.
Yeah.
All right. This is something that not a lot of people probably know, so I like that.
No,
That's the third Capitals fan that we've had on.
I, I had a lot of fun making fun of the Maple Leafs the last few weeks on social media, but I mean
Well,
it's just a
everybody does.
natural thing. I mean, it's the
Uh,
first time in my life I cheered for the Bruins because everybody in my household cheers for the Bruins, so there was no way that somebody myself would cheer for the Bruins. So growing up, I cheered for the Canadians just in order to cause the chaos around the house, I guess, and have an argument.
it's such a shit disturber. I love it, man. I love it. I'm the same way, man. And I've got buddies, a lot of buddies that are Leafs fans, and I always love to roast them a little bit. It's not hard. It's not hard, but
No.
your social media has been good the last few weeks with that. What's your history watching senior? When did you start watching senior hockey, and why do you like senior hockey so much?
Oh my, geez. I started watching senior hockey. I mean, just as a young lad around Miramichi, we used to have a league, just the local teams. It was a senior C, Bay St. Anne, Miramichi, Renews, just the
Yeah.
local areas. And then after that, the Beausejour League kind of grew from there. And it was probably sometime in that range when I first started getting introduced to scorekeeping during them games. And then I met Hoppy Dunn. So I mean, I kind of grew hearing the legends of all these other guys, and it kind of grew on me as time goes on. So I think I like the senior hockey because of the roughness, because of the history behind it, and as well as the rivalries. I mean, that's probably the best part of it all is seeing the rivalries between all the different communities.
What's the best rivalry in the Beausejour League?
There's some good ones nowadays. I mean, everybody seems to have a rivalry with Doketown, but myself,
What?
I truly like the Trackety Shippigan rivalry. Some of the best
Agreed.
games I've ever been to, some of the roughest games, the ones with the most fan interactions have been usually them games down there.
I agree with you, man. It's a trippy thing there. They're very proud and they're so close. But yeah, were you at that? You were at that game 7 in Trackety, weren't you? You were like
Yeah,
in the corner.
and
Yeah.
that's, I mean, you can't beat the atmosphere down there. They love their hockey, and I mean, for smaller communities, they have a ton of good hockey players come out of there. So it's always great to go down and watch. You see some good hockey, you see a great rivalry. I love being down there.
It's a good one. I know you enjoyed some Hawks JC's game a couple years ago. That's where the first time I really I think met you was covering those. So let's keep going here. Social media. I didn't know about you until the World Juniors. So even before the BSHL, I kind of saw some of your World Juniors coverage. You did some of the Bring Back McPizza stuff. Talk to me a bit about the World Juniors because you have a bunch of coverage from that.
The World Juniors was the time of my life. I mean, I've got the story of all stories. The World Juniors was, I mean, it was a life changing, both for my social media and for my personal life. Coming into the World Juniors, as you said, I had the pizza thing going. So when the World Juniors came here, it was just natural that I'd dress like a pizza and try to make a sign and be on TV. And it so had it been I could get tickets in Moncton right behind the net. So I ended up buying as many tickets as I could in Moncton behind the net. And as it went on, I ended up meeting Jesse Pollock from Bar Down, and I
Yeah.
did a TikTok with him. So that was pretty interesting to see how he films and what he does for his TikToks. It was interesting. It was nice. It was a fun experience. And when I was there, I ended up winning the 50-50 at the World Juniors. So that kind of changed everything a little bit. So once me and my girlfriend won the 50-50, we kind of decided to keep going, and we traveled over to Halifax for the semifinals and final games.
How high was the 50-50 when you won it? If you don't mind sharing.
It wasn't off. It was above 60,000.
Wow, that's
So
amazing, man.
so we go over to Halifax, and the hardest part was because it was such a small venue, we couldn't get tickets,
Yeah.
and we essentially hit the jackpot twice in that week because somebody had given me a tip to call the box office the day of the gold medal game, and so be it. Somebody answered at the box office and had two tickets left to sell for the gold medal game, and me and my girlfriend happened to get them for it was just under $200, I think, for both tickets. So it was
Wow.
it was
Okay.
it was a surreal week. It was crazy how it all kind of worked out, and I mean we had the time of our lives and just kind of kept going from there.
After that, you started covering some BSHL stuff. Like I said, that's where I met you, and that's where you had a TikTok video that went viral. It just went nuts. It was that Hawks JCs fighting at center ice video. I remember it went to like a few 100,000. Like it felt like overnight, and now it's well over 1 million views. What's that feel like when that happens?
It's interesting to see the ones that will kind of go viral like that. Like that video, it was heavily edited to take out anything that could be, I mean, any kind of violence or anything like that.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the one that I kind of expected to go. I mean, in that series, you had Lewis and you had Collette and you had crazy saves and just amazing hockey going on. So I expected one of those videos to maybe go viral before that. So it kind of surprised me that was the video that kind of took off out of them all. But it was definitely surreal to see the numbers going up, 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 up. You couldn't keep up with the comments and the shares and likes. It was interesting.
It's we've had the same experience with Amir Mashi versus LC clip that got to like I think it's like 1.5 million or something right now, but it went from like 0 to 1 million in a weekend. And I totally get what you mean. You can't keep up with the comments, can't keep up with the follows, and it just goes.
Yeah.
Man, that must have sparked you early on though. Like clearly you've got a talent for the hockey clips you do. Your style of clips and our style of clips are two totally different things. Yours is really good entertainment. We just show some nice goals. That's all we do. Um, Tell me a bit about your editing style because it's definitely there's a lot of work that goes into it, eh?
And that's what people I don't think realize is the amount of work. And I mean, as you guys know, the hours on the road, the traveling, the eating in the car, or
Oh yeah.
leaving right from work, going to the next arena. But I mean, I enjoy it. We've enjoyed it. I mean, me and my girlfriend have been all over the East Coast in the last year, traveling. I've learned a little bit about editing skills, but mostly I try to pick on the lighter side of things. And I try to do it in a way to not make fun of anybody, but also have a laugh. And I mean, it's hard to walk that fine line sometimes, but I do my best to anyway.
I feel like you accomplished that. It's very evident that you're not trying to make light of senior hockey. You have a great deal of respect for senior hockey, but you definitely have an eye. I don't know. I've watched you at games recording, and you don't record the whole game. How do you know when to hit record and when to start? Like it's a you have a skill. I don't understand it.
I think some of it's pure luck, but I mean, a lot of it's just, I mean, reading what's happening. Sometimes you see the things going on behind the play and you kind of see it happening, and that's usually when I'll try to hit record if I can.
I respect that, man. It's not easy, but yeah, the editing is really something. So you started following the Mooseheads after that 2023 BSHL playoffs, and you popped off again there. You kind of went crazy. I remember seeing that video of you with the pizza suit with them in the penalty box. That one cracks me up every time I see it. And you guys were in Quebec City, like you really committed. You dedicated yourself to really
They
doing a phenomenal job of covering them. Talk to me about that period.
the Halifax Mooseheads, they went on a phenomenal run last
Oh
year. They
yeah,
went right to the finals of the Gilles Courteau Cup, the QMJHL Cup. And I mean, we had a local, or one of the local Timberwolves from before, Braden McPhee, playing on the team. So it was natural for us to cheer for them. And I mean, as they got going deeper and deeper into the playoffs, we became more and more and more committed. But we made tons of friends along the way. We got very lucky, Quebec City games and stuff. They sold out in 11 minutes.
yeah.
We managed to score tickets through a family member. So we made a lot of friends along the way. We've had a lot of fun. I mean, but it's been a wicked journey. There's a lot of videos that I made that never ever really took the cut either. Like me making fun of Patrick Waugh never really made it viral. Nobody really ever seen it. So there's been lots of ones that didn't go as well as the ones that did go, I guess.
I've never seen that video. Is that
And
one on your TikTok?
I think it is still up there. I
Yeah.
mean, I picked at him during the playoffs every game. I mean, it was just natural. He was an easy target, and he was the competitive team. So I mean, but yeah, it's interesting to see the ones that I expected to do well to not do well, or vice versa.
You're saying that as I'm looking at my Patrick Waugh jersey on the wall over there.
Yeah, we're both big Habs fans. I don't think we make too much of a secret of that. Um, how much traveling do you do for the BSHL? Because we see you pretty much. I think the only rinks I haven't seen you in are Dalhousie and Spring Hill. I see you everywhere else.
Well, that's kind of my luck of being where I'm situated at, being in Miramichi. I'm within a hour radius of most games. And Spring Hill is about 2 hours and 10 minutes from my house. I think Dalhousie is about the same, and those are the only two far travels. All the
Yeah,
rest are within about an hour range. So, given that there's only games Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we try to make at least 2 out of 3, or
sometimes
sometimes
three
three
out
out of
of
three.
three. Yeah, we get it. We get it. So, what's your favorite rink in the league?
Ooh, I kind of like them all for their own little things, I guess. I I don't know. I like the rink in Shippigan. I do like that rink. I like the food in Doketown.
Oh yeah,
Food in
so do we.
Dalhousie's good as well.
Yeah. Something about the Civic, man. That place has like an environment or a feel when you walk in. But you're not wrong, man. There's something special about every rink. You've got some really good videos in Trackety, which is a hard rink to shoot in. I'm just going to be honest with you. We have a really hard time shooting in Trackety. Your videos in Trackety are normally phenomenal. What's your secret? Tell us your secret. I don't get it.
Trackety's the hardest rink. I mean, I same thing. And when we went down to Game 7 in playoffs, there was people in front of me and behind me and beside me, and I I was just pure luck that I was the only one in the rink that seemed to get service that night, because I ended up going live, I think, on Facebook that night because
Yeah,
nobody else could, and
they
it was.
couldn't. Yeah,
I just somehow got lucky in that one little corner that I was in, but I find that rink hard. I also find Doketown because of the netting hard in front of me. I've
Yeah.
that's why you
but
sit pretty low when you're in Doketown.
generally, yeah, I'll try to sit lower or close to the glass. I've found that giving up and missing a few clips is worth getting better clips overall for the few that you will get, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
It
no, I
does.
totally understand what you mean by
Or
that.
try to commit. Sometimes I'll commit to one end more than the other, and you miss all the clips in one end, but you're going to get way better in the other. So I kind of sometimes stick with that as well, I guess.
That's an interesting strategy. We tend to try to go middle, but sometimes, especially in Trackety, I think the strategy is really that's actually pretty wise. So like, all right, I'm gonna get all the clips on this side. If something happens on the other side, well, that's unfortunate.
Well, I
Um,
didn't do that forever, and it's kind of a started it about halfway through this year, and it seems to work for me, I guess.
yeah,
I I don't know. I lose a lot though because of it, and miss a lot because of it.
And so here's my question: who's your favorite BSHL team? That's a hard one, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I just enjoy the good hockey. I enjoy the rough aspect of hockey. I like the showmanship of it all. I mean, I like Doketown this year because they had lots of roughness and grit to them. But I mean, I'm from Miramichi, so I have to like Miramichi some. And I mean, I also have a soft spot for the Hawks, as you probably known from last year. So
Yeah.
it's hard to tell.
It's not easy. We're the same way. You've always got some players on every team that you start to really like. I know we all like Brandon Kenny, just because he's such an entertainer and it makes for good clips for social media. We've got some questions that we always ask everybody, and we're gonna ask them to you too. So
Uh-oh.
when you're driving to the rink, what are you listening to on the radio?
It depends on the day. Usually I'd be listening to something a little bit heavier, maybe some classic rock, usually. Could be some AC/DC or something along them lines.
When you were going to those Hawks games, I don't know about you, man, but I was listening to Electric Powwow Drum. I love that song. There's some really good music, some good goal songs in this league. Corey, what are the other questions that we always ask?
Well, one of them is, what is your favorite rink food?
My personal favorite rink food's poutine. I'm a poutine fanatic. I'll get poutine at every rink and try it at least once everywhere I go.
I
That's
don't. I'm not sure. I think poutine is unanimous.
No, there's a few. There's a few hot dogs, one hot dog, and a couple burgers. What's the best poutine in the league?
best poutine in the league, hands down. Miramichi Civic Center for value and what you get. It's always been. I don't know. It's
It's
whatever
super
they do
cheap in
there.
Miramichi. Yeah?
Yeah,
Food.
The
it's
hot
very.
dog there is fantastic. Big friggin' hot dog, and you get a can of pop with that. It's like $7. It's like,
Yeah,
wow.
so that's usually my favorite one. But I mean, I like Doketown's burgers though too.
Oh
Oh, they're
yeah,
my favorites.
you're talking my language. Um, man, I love Doketown. I love their rink. I love the feel of that rink. I don't know why. I wish it was a little warmer, but they have phenomenal food. I love the benches. The people in Doketown are just the best people in the world.
Great
So
people.
you can't ask for better than
And I
that.
think that's what makes it down there is the people more so than
Yeah.
anything for me anyway. Like, it's everybody is very friendly and generous and they always will say hello. And I think I like that more than anything down there.
I agree with you. As you wear your Flow hockey hat, little plug for Mark Betts here.
We had a
Uh,
buddy of ours, Adam Story, and like the 3 or 4 last games in Dopetown, kept asking us, "Where's TimTim? I never met TimTim." So he was looking for you to say hi. So I don't know if you ever met Adam
I
Story.
don't I don't think I did.
Was one of the security guards, and he did the PA a few
yeah,
times.
did the
Oh
PA.
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Great guy,
I've
great
sat
friend.
I sat behind him in Elsie for a couple games as well,
Yeah,
actually.
Yeah, Tim, you definitely keep a low profile at games. You'll just kind of sneak in, sit there, and we'll normally have a little chat. But yeah, you don't draw much attention. I respect that. We have a bunch of gear that we set up, so we draw way too much attention.
Sometimes it's good to kind of fly under the radar and nobody know, what's going on. So I kind of like that aspect sometimes. And that's what I used to like about going, especially down like Shippigan, is many of them didn't know me. I mean, as kind of my videos caught on, more and more knew me, but at first nobody knew me. And I kind of like that secret aspect that nobody kind of knew who I was.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know too many people in the league don't know you, Tim. I gotta say, you've gone viral a few too many times, and you've done lately been doing a lot of those picking on Miramichi things, and those are hilarious too.
I got time to kill until next hockey season.
There you go, there you go. Well, you've got a new baby, don't you? So you're busy.
Yeah, I got a 10-week-old baby at home, so that keeps us busy. I mean, that was right during playoffs, so he got to come experience some playoff games at a week old. So got his first taste of the BSHL.
Do you have a picture of him at a game?
Oh, I got several.
Good, good. Yeah, that's perfect. All right, man. Well, thanks for doing this. We appreciate it. We've always talked about having you on, and time worked out. So, man, it was great having you on. I'm sure we'll bring you back on sometime in the future.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Take care,
Take care,
guys.
guys.